welcome to the Storyboard special. I'm Shibhani Gharat. Audience has a lot of entertainment options at their disposal today. They have changed the way in which they consume content. Technology and digitization have blessed consumers with on-demand videos in the comfort of their homes. There is availability of low-cost internet and high-quality content. Many customers are shifting to smart TVs by discarding their traditional cable subscriptions, although linear TV does continue to exist in a big way in the country. But the growing buzz around smart television with OTT platforms has made connected TVs significant for advertisers too, and by getting a hold of it, they are able to reach their audience and engage them with the right message in the right place. Another big disruption in the advertising domain is going to be planning and buying connected TV at the helm of programmatic methods. In today's special, we are discussing all of this and how is connected TV shaping the media and advertising landscape. In studio, we have Pranab Bakshi, Head of Video Strategy and Partnerships at Network 18, Jayalala, CEO Zenith, Amol Dighe, CEO Investments and New Business at Madison Media. And over Zoom, we are joined in by Shashank Srivastav, Senior Executive Officer, Marketing and Sales, Maruti Suzuki India, and Havas Media Group India CEO, Mohit Joshi. All of you, welcome to this special. Mohit, Shashank, welcome to this special.
Thank you. Thanks.
Mohit, let's begin this conversation with you. First of all, you guys have just come up with a report on connected TV, which is quite elaborate. If you can describe the current state of connected TV in the country.
Shivani, in my view, it's in a state of explosion. As on 2022, the number of households in India that owned connected TVs were anywhere around 25 million. And this figure is only going to go double by 2025. Clearly, there is an increased internet penetration, which is why connected TVs have become a reality. There is a rise of streaming services. I think there are close to about 60, 70 plus OTT platforms, if I take into account the regional OTT platforms as well. And the most important thing is the falling prices of the CTVs. So CTVs are available at a much lower cost than what they were in the past. So with these three key elements, in my view, the state is a state of explosion where we'll see a lot of growth happening in the years and days to come.
Over to you, Jay. How has the streaming service landscape evolved in response to this increasing popularity of connected TV?
So, as Mohit was saying, it's completely, the entire CTV is growing and 20 million, 30 million, whatever the number be. But I think there are two elements which go into it. One is the content. The entire uniqueness of this content is also leading to this explosion. So streaming, people wanting to stream is also largely because of the content. What was available on linear TV is not available here, and vice versa, and therefore people are preferring that. The second is the infrastructure. So while it has, everything is there for the consumer, okay, but you need broadband connectivity. I don't know how many people will be able to do it through a hotspot or any dongle or something, because the entire fun is watching with a streaming connection which has a high bandwidth. So at one end you have content which is extremely viewable, and people are hungry for that content. At the other end is the data expense, is the infrastructure, which probably pulls it back. So it's a combination of two. Currently, it is growing, but it is growing at the premier segment. And it's approximately 10% of the...
Exactly on that point, and you gave me a great segue for my next question to you, Amol. Is large parts of India, especially the rural market, is still on linear television. So if you can share more roadblocks when it comes to adoption of connected TV in the country.
I think Jay mentioned it correctly, especially when you come to the rural households. There are two challenges out there. The first challenge is the hardware cost. Second challenge is the data cost. See, we are seeing a huge shipment of smart TVs which is happening in India, right? I mean, around 90% of the shipments are happening of smart TVs. So that means that out of 10 people buying television, 9 are smart TVs. However, when you go to the rural household, there is a challenge there because, everyone won't be able to afford a 15,000 or 20,000 plus smart TV. However, if in the future smart TVs are made available in the 5 to 8,000 band, which I think is a possibility going ahead. That might solve some of the issue. The second is the data cost. See, like you were saying, we don't want CTV to be watched on hotspots, right? We want it to be streamed brilliantly through a nice, powerful Wi-Fi connection. That is also one of the challenges rural will face. But going ahead, I foresee that data plans also will be made cheaper, available to the rural households. And that might then increase the adoption of CTV.
Yeah. And Shashank, over to you. As a marketer, how do you look at, this explosion of connected TV? How do you take it as a part of your strategy and marketing and media plan?
Yeah, I think it's, first of all, a very great opportunity. As was mentioned by Mohit, I think that there seems to be an explosion in terms of the number of CTV owners. In fact, there is a varying number between 15 to 23 million household, expected to be around 60 million by 2025. Currently, CTV is just around 9 to 12% of the total TV households. And that is expected to go up to as high as 30% in just about 2 or 3 years' time. So what is happening is that if we look at research data from other countries, while currently the total penetration in the household, 9 to 12% of the TV households in America, for example, is as high as 92%, which means the adoption of CTVs is going to increase. And that's the big opportunity for advertisers. So what is happening in marketing terms is convenience is driving audiences towards CTVs, and the addressability is driving advertisers to CTV. And it is not just so it's about precision. It's about precision targeting. It's also very cost effective. In fact, you could have different variety of ad formats. You have flexible pricing and so on. All that goes with CTV. So as far as we are concerned, we are looking at it in a very big way. And in fact, we are looking also at in our media plans integrated with linear TVs. We are looking at increase of about 10 to 15% and reach terms alone. And going forward, I think it's going to get so big that probably the CTV spends are going to be, in a very short span, going to be much larger than even linear TV.
And how game-changing is it going to be, Shashank, if you can throw in some light, considering that from this year, we have started living in a cookie-less world. So as you mentioned, precision targeting is one of the pluses of connected TV.
Yeah, so in the cookieless ad environment, this is actually very a big positive for CTVs, because it depends on for identification. It depends on IP addresses, device IPs. There are other first-party data, and it is that's why in a cookieless world, probably when we come to targeting precisely either through device type or through geolocation, or even in terms of purchase history or other interest sort of thing, then CTVs will be the best, rather than you just have no idea of who the actual consumer is. When it comes to you just have a general idea. And you also have, very good online real-time measurement. You can take corrective action if you are on CTV, advertising on CTV. That's also something which has got great potential, which is not talked of, generally speaking. But it's very important. And I think as the cord cutters and cord shavers increase, in fact, now we talk of cord nevers as well, people who who didn't go through the linear TV route. I think it's going to be very important for advertisers to be on connected TV.
Yes, over to you, Pranav. Programmatic CTV ad inventory is only increasing, is what we have seen over the past couple of years. I want to understand from you, what is the impact of these big-ticket marquee properties like IPL, like the FIFA World Cup, on all of this? Also, FIFA Plus recently signed a partnership with, will be available on connected TV apps such as Samsung TV, LG, Vida, Amazon Fire and Android TV, which was like an announcement made recently. So give us a picture on what is the impact of these marquee properties on the ad inventory.
See, I think you have to look at two genres very, very separately. sports and news. I'm sorry, I'm bringing in, we represent news here. These two genres are already very highly consumed as they happen. There's nothing called as deferred. There's nothing called as appointment viewing. There's nothing called go to an OTT and go and watch it. It has to be watched then and there.
Sure.
In both these genres, what we've seen, essentially the consumption is already very high on a mobile device. It is high on linear, but linear is a force that you have to have a certain channel, you have to have a certain build, you have to have a certain kind of a package to watch this. In both these cases, you're catching it on mobile if you want to watch extended. It's a very seamless transition to CTV. If we're able to capture that, and not only by programmatic. Programmatic is one part of it. Programmatic will always be compared to the likes of YouTube. Sorry, but those are the guys who have been sitting on a certain amount of inventory, are enjoying a great fill on all genres across. They have been used to selling in a certain way. I think there are two ways to sell. What we saw with IPL, one is programmatic way of selling. One is the conventional way of bringing it in and adding value. So when you have a marquee property, how do you integrate sponsorships? Also, with CTV, there are a lot more options of how you integrate the ad. You can add actually a code, a transaction which goes on mobile to CTV. There is pull-throughs. There's something like they were saying, Shashank was saying that you can convert the ad if you're not getting a certain amount of output from it. Tomorrow, if there is a particular contest that you're running for a car, that can be changed at the last minute because it's not working. So you'll see a lot more there. But I think it's a combination of programmatic, again, being not more than maybe 25-30%. I don't know if anyone will agree with me or not here, but I don't think that's the only way. As a content creator, if this is pure play programmatic, I don't think we'll be able to get the value that we need from doing
your
this.
take, Amol, on that?
Slightly different. See, I think marquee events like IPL, we saw what happened just recently, right? In fact, even before IPL, there was FIFA World Cup, which Jio Cinema gave free to everyone. And what happened there was phenomenal. In fact, 110 million viewers watched FIFA World Cup, which was higher than what was the viewership on television.
Yes.
And when the FIFA World Cup final happened, around 32 million, according to Jio's stats, people watched the final alone. Again, it was higher than what was watched on television. So I think that is giving us a huge amount of path to how these marquee events are going to help fuel connected TV. IPL, we saw what happened, right? I think it was a match between Gujarat Titans and Chennai Super Kings in which the peak concurrency was 3.2 crore viewers. Right? Now, currently what is happening is most of the deals, at least on the large events, are happening directly. Because from advertisers and from agencies, programmatic, I kind of agree with him, it is still 25% maybe plus or minus here and there. But as these events, happen, now FIFA plus what you spoke about, there is World Cup which is going to come now.
Yeah, and also BCCI media rights are up for grabs. A new broadcaster will be announced in August.
Absolutely.
So how will, all of these factors shape that decision in the coming days, according to you?
In the terms of CTV, you are saying?
Yes.
See, the environment is actually moving towards CTV, if you ask me, very honestly.
Yeah.
Because it is a sweet spot which CTV has got. The attribution is digital, but ultimately it is a TV screen, which we all have to remember. That's why the ambience, the premiumness of CTV will only go up. Advertisers, it seems to be a great future for CTV. And marquee events like FIFA, IPL, now the World Cup is only going to fuel the growth.
It is time for a short break. This conversation will continue. You don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back. On today's Storyboard special, we are discussing how connected TV is shaping the media and advertising landscape. I come to the point of measurement. Let's just begin with you, Mohit. How do you garner insights, especially for your clients or brands, when when it comes to using CTV as one of the platforms or mediums like to reach to the consumers?
So, CTV is definitely more measurable than, linear TV in my view. So, because it as rightfully said, it is a digital output and a large TV format. So, to that extent, we have always questioned BARC data and we will keep questioning it in future as well. So on one hand, you have linear TV and you have BARC, which is giving you information around it. On the other hand, you have connected TVs where the attribution can be far more specific. So in my view, that's the way it is going to move in future.
Yeah, but you mentioned you questioned BARC data, but when it comes to CTV, is almost like to each his own data. Jay, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I would completely I have a different point of view than Mohit. I think there is BARC data, okay, and it's a syndicated data. Something is better than nothing. So there is somebody independently measuring the TV data. When it comes to CTV, we are dependent on the platforms.
Correct.
So we have to go to YouTube or Hotstar or somebody, and we have to rely. There's no way of cross-checking that. And my belief is that that is something which is pulling it back. While there is everything going for CTV, there are affluent viewers, it's growing, but measurement continues to remain a challenge because I am reliant on somebody else's data. I don't go to CNBC and ask for their data or Star for their data.
Correct.
But here I'm reliant on YouTube or Samsung or whatever. So I think that's a big challenge. Agencies are trying to evolve in their own way.
Yeah.
So we've developed our own mechanism where we try and measure it in a certain way. We have our own samples. We try and evolve models on that. But again, it's an agency-led. I think it should be industry-led.
Yeah. So on that note, Shashank, let me just ask you, being a marketer, do you think this is a cause of concern that there is no uniform measurement when it comes to connected TV, considering that you said that connected TV is going to be so important for someone like Maruti Suzuki in the coming days?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the big problems which is currently there, CTVs will grow in any case, but the problem from an advertiser point of view, from a marketer point of view, is that there is no universal acceptability of a common currency of measurement. So I think if you want to leverage the potential of CTV, we need to have a unified measuring system across all media. So, for example, there is one report, I think it's a Group M and iSpot report, which says on an average 8 to 10% of the streaming impressions were delivered when TV sets were shut off. So obviously, there is something which we need to do about it because otherwise the measurements won't be precise. And in fact, the confidence of advertisers would be reduced, even if the opportunity is huge. And I will continue to say that it's a huge opportunity. Advertisers need to get into CTV if they want to have drive a larger video imagery measure. And it's very important for people like me because I'm in the auto industry here. Imagery is important. Video is very important. Video on larger screens is very important. Yeah. So you could have, streaming on the mobile devices as well. But it is something like we mentioned FIFA or World Cup, cricket, etc. Something which our target has got great affinity for. You need to look at larger screens. So that is important, but measurement is very, very important. In fact, there are some the industry is trying to get into trying to find a better measurement. Like for example, there are some global best practices like the IAB Europe. They recommend a hybrid measurement, which means you can use things like ACR methods like audio fingerprinting or watermarking, or you could have pixel-based technology to track impressions or capture video start and completion and so on and so forth. You also have passive panel, metering technologies like portable people meter or even digital metering using linked mobile devices or home routers, for example, home router level meters. So there is enough technology which is available. And my personal thought is that as the CTVs grow and advertisers realize that, so will the broadcasters and all the people in the network, whether it is content providers or whether it is service providers or streamers, they will all get together and it will be good for all in the industry if we could have that common measurement. Yes, it is currently a problem. It is an evolving field. And I think technology exists and people will get together to find that common currency of measurement. And that should further push the advertisers for CTV.
So let's put the ball in the platform's court. Your take, Pranav, on how can this be done and what are the challenges when it comes to measurement and currency and attribution?
See, I think we have to really look at it in a slightly different way. If you look at it, who are you dealing with right now in CTV? Yeah. You're dealing with tech companies. You're dealing with white good manufacturers who are becoming a CTV player, or anybody else who sort of is trying to jump into this. They're not traditional. They're not traditionally from an industry which looks at data in a certain way. Sure. In fact, we guys were discussing down, Jay and I, on how data was looked at, say, 10 years back or 15 years back. Right now, the data impressions that we get, you get a separate data from, say, a Meta, you get a separate data from YouTube, you get a separate set from Samsung, a separate set from a fast TV provider based out of UK. So all these, when you bring this data together, there is no uniformity in it. Firstly, that uniformity has to be done by an independent source or independent owner, which has some stake in the game. Right now, there's nobody who's doing the data who has stake in the game. Yeah. All of us, whether it is content creators or OEMs, we're just standing up and saying we had so many video views, we had so much of impressions, we are the largest. So we are all making that statement out of a data which is held by a third party. Like Shashank was also saying, in terms of you have to be very clear that unified thing has to come in, has to be an independent body, has to be somebody who owns and has a stake in the game. Yeah, but who
like can, how, like BARC? But Mohit over here says that people question BARC data. There has been so much friction even in the broadcast industry.
That's exactly what I said.
And I think data.
People question BARC data, and that's a reality. Yeah. When everybody, all the stakeholders have a skin in the game, that's how BARC came into existence. And as Jay said, it's better than not having anything. But in spite of that, there are questions, right? We don't have an integrated currency where we can have TV plus print plus online being planned. So there are huge challenges that we have as far as data research is concerned. And CTV is also one more element, a layer of complication on top of that. So in my view, yes, there should be definitely a proper research, a third-party research that should be tracking it, but that will not slow down the growth of CTV.
Yeah. Okay. But I think we have some hope, because what I hear is BARC is working on something called as India Baseline Study, and where they are using the modes of signal as free-to-air, DTH, cable, and then connected TV layer as well.
Sure.
But what I hear is the study is being delayed due to a variety of reasons. But once the study comes out, then it will give us a fair idea of how the CTV universe is, moving in terms of viewership and
as Pranav also mentioned, and I want to know this from you as well, CTV universe is broader as compared to like the kind of stakeholders that are there on BARC. So like if you can throw in some light or give us an insight on the challenges in doing this measurement.
See, currently CTV base is not very high, like what Jai was saying.
But it's growing.
It is growing. Yeah. In fact, in the last 5 years, it's grown to some 13 times and all that. Currently, we are looking at some 75 million individuals, etc. But challenges are there in 3 areas: measurement, attribution, and the third is common identifier. Like, right, I mean, today the digital ad industry has moved away from third-party cookies, as we saw, to a user ID based kind of solution. I think CTV also needs to do that. It needs to go towards multi platform kind of system to get the viewers on. Because what is happening is, if you look at the current IP based measurement system, they are not allowing a marketer to accurately attribute views to conversions. And that's becoming a big challenge in the digital space. So that's something CTV can overcome, right? But obviously lack of standard measurement and lack of one unified platform is prohibiting it from happening. And also, like Jai was speaking, there are multiple levels of measurements, right? I mean, we have to get the data from our partners, publishers, and imagine there are about 500-600 television channels. Imagine each channel gives you data on its own. What will happen to media planning and buying? So there has to be one single currency, and my hope is on BARC going ahead.
Great. Your hope is on BARC. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks Mohit and Shashank for joining us virtually.
Thank you. Thank you.
With that, it's a wrap on Storyboard this week. You can catch all of our content on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time next week. See you soon.